5 years. It feels like a lifetime ago, and yet like it was just yesterday. The name George Floyd echoes through the halls of history, a name that became a rallying cry, a symbol of a movement that swept across the globe. But what has truly changed in the half-decade since his tragic death? Let's take a deep dive into the impact of George Floyd's murder 5 years later. May 25, 2020, a day that is etched into our collective memory. The brutal video of George Floyd's last moments under the knee of a police officer ignited a firestorm of grief and rage. The world watched, horrified. And then the world reacted. Streets that were eerily quiet due to a global pandemic suddenly filled with the sounds of protest. From Minneapolis to London, from Sydney to Seoul, millions of people of all backgrounds marched, chanted, and demanded change. The phrase, "Black Lives Matter," wasn't just a hashtag anymore. It was a global headline, a conversation happening at dinner tables, in boardrooms, and in the highest offices of power. It forced a long overdue reckoning with systemic racism and police brutality, not just in America, but everywhere. These weren't just riots. They were an uprising, a collective demand for justice and accountability that could no longer be ignored. In the immediate aftermath, the wheels of justice began to turn, albeit slowly. The officer involved, Derek Chauvin, was arrested and charged. His trial became a global spectacle, a moment of truth for the American legal system. The world held its breath. When the verdict came in guilty on all counts, there was a palpable sense of relief, a rare moment of accountability. It was a landmark case, signaling that perhaps, just perhaps, the system could work. But the legal battles didn't end there. The other officers on the scene also faced state and federal charges, leading to convictions and prison sentences. These cases set crucial precedents, showing that inaction and complicity also have consequences. Yet, even with these legal victories, many still ask, is this justice or just accountability for one high-profile case? The legal saga surrounding George Floyd's death continues to this day, with ongoing civil lawsuits and appeals, reminding us that the fight for justice is a marathon, not a sprint. The echoes of outrage from that summer resonated far beyond the courtroom. They reverberated through the halls of government, forcing lawmakers to act. What followed was a wave of police reform legislation unlike anything seen in decades. The George Floyd Justice in Policing Act was introduced in the U.S. Congress, aiming to ban chokeholds, end no-knock warrants in drug cases, and create a national database of police misconduct. While the federal bill ultimately stalled, its impact was felt at the state and local levels. Over 30 states passed new laws on policing. Cities across the country re-examined their police budgets, diverting funds to community-based programs focusing on mental health, housing, and violence prevention. The conversation shifted from simply policing to a broader concept of public safety. This was the from protest to policy transformation in action. It was messy, it was contested, and it's far from complete. But the very fact that these conversations were happening at all was a monumental shift, a direct result of the pressure applied by millions of people who took to the streets. So where does that leave us today, 5 years on? Has America truly changed? The answer is complex. On one hand, the cultural landscape has been permanently altered. Conversations about race, privilege, and systemic inequality are more mainstream than ever before. Corporations that once shied away from social issues now publicly commit to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Juneteenth is now a federal holiday, a symbolic acknowledgement of a painful part of American history. We see more diverse representation in media and leadership positions. These are not small things. They represent a significant cultural shift in awareness and understanding. However, the path to true equality is fraught with challenges. The initial momentum for police reform has faced significant backlash and political resistance. Crime rates have fluctuated, leading some cities to reverse course on police budget cuts and reinstate controversial tactics. Data on police encounters still shows stark racial disparities. For many Black Americans, the fear and mistrust of law enforcement remain a daily reality. The very phrase "Black Lives Matter" has become politically polarized, a testament to the deep divisions that still exist. It's a sobering reminder that changing laws and policies is one thing, but changing hearts and minds and dismantling centuries-old systems is a generational struggle. The fight for the soul of America, ignited on that street corner in Minneapolis, is far from over. Remembering George Floyd is about more than just remembering his death. It's about remembering his life. He was a father, a son, a brother, a friend known to many as a gentle giant, and it's less about remembering the promise that his legacy holds. The promise of a more just and equitable world. The events of the past 5 years have shown us the power of collective action, but they have also exposed the depth of the work that still needs to be done. The fight for justice continues in courtrooms, in legislative chambers, in community meetings, and in our everyday conversations. It requires our constant attention, our unwavering commitment, and our refusal to be silent. George Floyd's last words, "I can't breathe," became a haunting plea that the world could not ignore. 5 years later, it's our responsibility to ensure that his legacy becomes a breath of fresh air, a wind of change that continues to push us forward. Thank you for watching. What are your thoughts on the changes we've seen in the last 5 years? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues that shape our world.